In this tutorial we're going to be looking at 3 bricks. We're going to be looking at the text and pictures brick, the spaces brick, and the headings brick. First one we're going to look at is the text and pictures brick. To use this, we do the same as with the other bricks. We click and drag to the active area, and then we double click to open up the settings. As you can see, the settings in this are similar to the settings in any word processing document. First, you've got the clickable buttons of cut, copy and paste. You then got your font style. You can select what style you want your font to be. You then got your font size. You can set the size you want to type in. You've got your font colour. This is going back to what we were talking about earlier. This grey here is the same grey used for the headings in the subject sites. So if you want to add a heading to your subject site, that's the colour to use, the grey between the purple and the yellow here. In this case I'm going to select this blue. Click OK. You've got the bold, italics and underline settings like you would have in Microsoft Word or any other word processor. You've got your justification settings. You can either left justify, center justify, right justify, or fully justify. You can do a list, either a bulleted list or a numbered list, and you can use the outdent and indent tools to change how that list looks. You can add a line to your page. You can add a table. We'll go into that a bit later on. You can add a link to any text you put in. You can insert a picture. Again, we'll go into that later on. We'll look at that one later again. And the frog tags we'll look at in a later tutorial. To type your text, you simply click until you get the flashing cursor as normal, and you would type in the text that you want. And then if you want to change anything on that text, highlight it and you can select anything you want as long as that text is highlighted, just like you would in Microsoft Word. When you're finished, click OK and your text will appear. Now under this I want a line, so I can double click again to go back into edit it, put a space in, and I can use this button here. As you can see, that's now put a line in. In my case I want some space between it, so all I do is press the return key again to put another space in, just as if you were typing in any program. And then click OK. You can see I've got the text with a line underneath it. Now before I get to the main content of my page, I want a space. So I'm going to use a space brick by clicking and dragging underneath my text. Double click in the blank space and you can set the size of your space. Size is based on pixels and the screen. In this case I'm going to use 10. You can set any size you want, just keep trying it out until it suits what you want. You can set a width to your space, but in this case I want it to go all across, so it doesn't really matter. And you can set a colour if you want it in a colour block, but again in my case I want it to be left plain. I'm going to leave that like that. Click OK. You can see the space has got bigger, and I've now got space between that and the rest of my content. Now we're going to look at the headings brick, but first I'm going to put in a 2-column brick by clicking and dragging, and I want to leave them equal, so I'm going to leave them exactly as they are. Again, like we showed before, if you do want to change them, you can just double click and the settings will come up for you to change them. Now to add something to the 1 column, click in it, and this time we're going to look at the headings brick. I'm going to click and drag down, double click on it, and this is the text you want your heading to say. So you type in what you want your heading to say, and in the advanced tab are all the colour settings that you want to use. Now the heading colour is the text colour. So I want my text to be the same blue as I've used for my main heading. So I'm going to click that. This is if you want to add a subheading in. In this case I'm not going to do that. And this is obviously the colour of that subheading. The background colour is the background colour of the heading itself. In this case I want it to be a dark grey. I'm going to select that and click OK. You can set a background image if you want. In my case I want to leave that as it is. You can set whether you want it left, centre or right. If you leave it as default it will automatically be on the left. You can set the font style and the font size. In my case I'm going to set it to large. And if you've got multiple lines of text, you can wrap the text so it sticks to the set format. In my case, because it's just one word, it doesn't need that. So I'm going to click OK to that. You can see all my settings are now there. Now if in my case you've done it and you don't like the colour, you can double click, go back into your band settings and change the colours as you want. I'm going to try a bit lighter grey. That stands out a bit better. Now I'm going to put another space in. If you don't want to keep clicking and dragging, you can click in the brick you want it to be below and then just click it once and it will appear. And again double click on the space to set the size. In this case I'm going to use 10 again. I now want to put in a picture under here, so I'm going to use the text and pictures brick. Double click it, and to insert a picture we click on this button here and then we search the picture we want to use. If you need to upload the picture you can do. In this case I'm going to use this picture, which is a frog head. Click OK. If the picture's too big you can resize just as you would in Microsoft Word by using the squares and hovering over till you get the arrows, clicking and dragging, just as you would in Microsoft Word. And you keep doing that until you get the image to the size that you want. I recommend that you try and get the image to the size you want before you put it in, but if not, this will work just as well. But you might have to keep playing about with it until you do get it right. Once you've put it in the size you want, click OK. Now we're going to look at adding a link into our page. So again, I want a space. And just you've done before. So size your space. Now I want to put some text in that can be clicked to take to another page. So I'm going to type the text that I want it to say. So I'm going to type in Google. I'm going to set my style, my font size, colour I'm going to set to purple, make it bold and italics, and to add the link in we click on this once it's highlighted, this world with the chain, and then you get a lot of options. You can either choose from an existing frog page, or you can insert an image by uploading it, or you can use an internet page by clicking on the internet page and typing in the URL that you want it to go to. Now if you want it to open up in a new window, all we do is click where it says new window and then we click OK. And that, when clicked, now will take somebody to google.com. Click OK. And if you want to test your page at any point, there's a preview button right at the top. You can see your page as it will look to the person using it. So if I click on that text, you'll see we'll open in a new tab, the Google website. You can see where all the spaces are. This is the header with the line. In the next tutorial we're going to look at the last brick in the common tab, which is the nested page / user component brick.